All right, you guys. So I already have my practice fingernail prepared. I went ahead and rough up the surface and add a nail tip to the fingernail and probably shaped it a little bit here before I begin to add my acrylic. Now with the acrylic here, I'm going to take like a pink color, a color that's close to the natural nail color with a little shimmer in it, and apply it right at the base of the nail here. So I'm just getting my monomer and my polymer together for the process here. Okay. And I'm getting my acrylic open here. And I'm going to get my encapsulations all set up here. All right. Okay. So I'm just dipping my brush into the liquid here, and I'm going to pick up a nice little bead to cover the nail area here with pink to make it look natural. So basically I'm putting the pink there because I want a natural transition. You know how sometimes people get their nails done and you can actually still see their real nails under, their artificial nails. Well, this here pink will kind of cover up your natural nail and make it look like a smooth, even transition here from the nail plate. Now I'm just going to take some more pink here and cover a little bit more because I want the free edge of the nail to be covered up here. And I'm going to use some sparkly glitter here in a second to cover the tip with. All right, just make sure I'm wiping off the sides here, clean up the shape here. Make sure the shape stays good, and then the margins. Just using the tip of my brush to go around the sides here. Okay, looking good. All right, wipe my brush off. Going back into my liquid, into my powder. Picking up a small bead of glitter. Gonna place it on there and gonna blend it upward into the tip there. Just a nice little blend upward. And then I'm gonna flip it around and blend it down to the tip here. Looks good. Then I'm going to wipe my brush. Make sure I'm not, catching any other acrylic in my brush here, keeping my brush clean. I'm going to go over to my encapsulations. I believe I got like some gold hearts. And at the tip, I'm going to put a gold Playboy bunny right at the tip of the nail here. So I'm going to go into my acrylic here and start picking up some hearts here and placing it directly on top of the nail. Now, when I'm placing my encapsulation, I try to place it, if I see any spots where the free edge of the nail isn't covered up good, I try to place my encapsulation there so it's not that noticeable, okay? So I'm just placing all my different encapsulations using my double-ended jewel placement tool here. I'm using the wax side here to pick up the encapsulation and kind of press it into place into the acrylic, and looking good. Putting some more here. Okay. And put this heart right here. Oh, like I dropped one. I'm going to pick that up here. Let me try to get it. Okay, I'm going to flip it around. Put it back onto the nail. All right. In a second here, I'm going to get some clear acrylic so that I can encapsulate my artwork into place so it doesn't move around. Okay. Let me see. I think I dropped something. There we go. All right. There we go. Put that on top. I kind of use the tip of my nail because sometimes the encapsulations that I'm trying to add to the nails get stuck to the wax tip and it doesn't just come out because it's usually for, it's a jewel instrument. It's for picking up jewels, but you can also use it to pick up your encapsulation artwork too. All right, so it looks like I got all my artwork on there that I want. I'm just going to clear some things out the way here. And then I'm going to get a clear bead of acrylic and place it directly on top of the encapsulation here. You can kind of see how I want the encapsulation kind of move. What I did is kind of take my brush and kind of tuck it beneath the acrylic there to kind of keep it in place. And I'm just going to kind of brush the acrylic down, pat it down. Now I want to be careful and mindful that the encapsulation that I just placed is loose. So I can't just go on there and brushing it all vigorously because I don't want to brush off what I just put it on there. Not until I get the acrylic over it to keep it into place. So I'm just going to add a few more designs here. All right. Just pack that into place. Pack, pack, pack. Looking good. I'm going to take some more acrylic here. I'm going to take a clear bead of acrylic and place it directly onto the encapsulation, making to spread my acrylic over, from sidewall to sidewall and bring it down. As you can see, I'm kind of walking it down, taking my time not to drag off of any of my artwork here. And just kind of pat the acrylic down over the encapsulation. Being careful not to wipe off the acrylic. Being sure to keep my shape on the sides. And you see how I just picked up that nail artwork? That's exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm just packing it back into place. Good, kind of tucking in the acrylic there. Using the tip of my acrylic brush to push that artwork back into the position that I would like it, and clean off my brush here. And I'm going to pick up another bead. You can use as many beads as you want. Everybody's at different speeds and different skill levels. So I'm going to put this bead right at the tip here to encapsulate the tip, and I'm just going to brush it upward. Brush it upward, being sure, to keep the shape. Wipe your brush, brush it upward, wipe your brush. Brush, brush, brush. Good. And also, while you're doing this, you want to be sure you ain't getting anything beneath the nail, too. Because, when I first started, we'll have a lot of acrylic beneath the nail. The top be looking all good, but you turn that nail around, it's all acrylic beneath there, leaving more work for you. So just be mindful to check beneath the nail, too, for acrylic, and to get the acrylic from beneath the nail before it dries. So I'm packing everything into place here, using my brush to kind of get that edge nice and flush, even little pack down there. Getting the sides, make sure everything's encapsulated. I'm going to dip back into here. I like to dip my brush into my liquid and kind of smooth things down. Because sometimes I feel like my brush be dry and it kind of stick to acrylic. So I just kind of not a drench, but just kind of dip my acrylic in there and just smooth over the top surface there. So I'm just smoothing. I'm sorry for getting out of frame here. I'm just trying to make sure that it is all encapsulated. The reason, because you want to make sure everything's encapsulated, because once this acrylic is hardened and you go to file, and shape the nail, you don't want to file away any of the nail art you just put in there, okay? That just defeat the whole purpose. So you want to make sure you got the acrylic over all your artwork, because you do not want to file it away when it comes for the time to file. So I'm just adding more acrylic to make sure, I got a, nice thick surface, but not too thick, because you want to be mindful of, how thick you make the encapsulation. You don't want to make it too thin to where when you file, you already filing into what you just encapsulated. And you don't want to make it too thick and it's big and bulky like a turtle shell. But you want to have thick enough to where you have enough acrylic to where you're able to file it without worrying about going into the actual encapsulation that you just placed. All right, so I'm just going to speed it up here in a second here. Again, I think you guys get the idea of the encapsulation here. All right, now that my acrylic has set up, I'm going to use my straight file. That's what I call it. I really love using this file because I feel like this file, the way it's designed, it's made for just making sure your side walls and your free edge is nice and shaped. So I'm just going around with the file and doing some little shaping here. And all shaped up nicely. All right. Okay, so I'm going to use a little drill bit here to go around my margins of the nail to kind of clean up around, the margin of the nail to give it that nice rounded look. So I'm just getting my little drill bit ready. Get my handpiece ready here. And before you're using hand pieces, always make sure you use your PPE, meaning your safety glasses and your mask, because you don't want anything flying to your eyes. You also do not want to be inhaling all this dust that we work with. So I'm just taking my little bit. I don't know the proper name of it, but it looks like an inverted triangle. That's what I use to clean up around my cuticles. So, okay, I got that all cleaned. And I'm going to switch to a different bit here just to take down some of the bulkiness. Make sure that it's got a nice, even, smooth shape throughout the nail. Making sure that I'm checking up and down the barrel of the nail. Making sure that I also see, a nice apex on here. So I'm using my safety bit. As you can see, it has like a rounded dome on there. So I'm just using my safety bits. That's really good when you're working like around the cuticle area. You don't have to be too nervous about cutting anybody because the way that bit is designed. Now I'm going just straight down, straight down. That just make sure, throughout the nail is nice and even throughout. And, I'll go from one direction to the other. So up and down, or from the right to the left. All right, looking good, looking good. I'm using my little pinky finger as my fulcrum finger. That's the finger that you use for leverage and balance. You use that finger too when you're doing like painted nail art. That finger would be your best friend to keep a steady hand. All right, so I'm gonna dust off this nail once I get finished filing it, crisping up the shape a little bit more. The shape is everything. That's one thing you know as a nail tech. You have to be on point with your shape, because your shape can make or break your whole set. I don't matter if you got a blinged out set, but your shape is off, you ain't gonna get all the praise that you would think you would. You gotta be on point with the shaping. And the shaping is something that I'm working with, improving with each and every day. So whatever you do not give up and do not get discouraged. So I'm taking my buffy here and just kind of, smoothing out the surface, because I just went over it with a rougher nail file. And I'm doing that for when I apply my polish. I don't want any, deep grit streak lines in here, okay? Dusting my nail off. Getting it ready here for the polish application. I'm going to clean it off with some swipe here. All right. Make sure I remove all the debris. And I'm just admiring the encapsulation. I will zoom in here in a second for you guys so you guys can really see. So I'm using that Shine E by Max Estrada, but I bought when I was first in nail school, so that's a few years back. So I'm just using that to go ahead and get that out my inventory. So I use that for my practice nails too. I like it so far. It's a nice top coat. All right, so I'm just gonna top this nail, making sure I don't flood the cuticles. I got some hair on there and get that off. Yeah, so when working with nails, it's best if you use like lint-free stuff, because lint will be your worst enemy. Your worst enemy. And sometimes those little cotton fibers be stubborn when they get stuck on your nails, especially when you put it on a top coat. You don't want that to happen. All right, so I'm just going down the nail here, making sure I got it covered really good. All right. Looking good. All right, so I just use my finger to remove excess polish from the side walls of the nail. But sometimes when you shape your nail, be all nicely shaped, and when you go to put on the polish, you realize that the nail look bulkier. It's because on the side walls, you need to clean it up to make sure, you keep your shape. So just do what I did with my finger and kind of pull the extra polish off, okay? Now I'm trying to get you guys to see the design here. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus in a little better here. There we go. You see the little Playboy bunny with the hearts? Come on now. Y'all can't tell me that's not cute. You see how that nice blending transition